patience. We are in a different, with a somewhat different format on our end. Everything should look the same as in previous meetings. And as we begin, I want to remind everyone to be attentive to his or her mute button, and then also to use the hand raise function, which is on the lower right, should appear as a hand on the lower right under the list of attendees or participants.
Where is that, Clay? Where is that?
Okay, it may not show up on yours, but it is under the list. It's under the list of attendees. There's a small hand just to the left of a megaphone icon, and in order to raise one's hand, one would just click on that raise hand function. Yes, as Commissioner Bell just demonstrated.
I don't
Commissioner Bell?
I don't see it. I'm sorry.
Well, if you don't see it, we can proceed without it, and we will just be aware, and I will just identify yourself when you speak, and that should suffice. So thanks everyone for your patience. This is Clay Bailey, Chair of the Metro Historical Commission, and as we have done previously in these remote meetings, our first task is to establish that COVID-19 requires telephonic meeting as permitted under Executive Order number 16. And Mr. Dickerson, do you need to say anything else in that regard, or we'll simply proceed with the roll call?
Yeah, this is Alex Dickerson with Legal Department. I wanted to say a few things. First of all, thank you, Mr. Chair, for stating that everyone, to identify yourselves, you need to identify yourself by name or be called on. That's part of the executive order. So just a reminder that if you interject or you make a motion, make sure you identify yourself when you do so. Also, the motion that we're looking for, just to have it on the record, is that the proposed agenda constitutes essential business of this body, and that meeting electronically is necessary for the health and well-being of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. Thank you.
Thank you. And we need to proceed with a roll call vote to approve that.
Chair Bell, this is Chair Bell, Chair Bailey.
Yes, Chair Bell, go ahead.
Yes, I make the motion according to legal counsel Dickerson's statement.
This is Commissioner Cotton. I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Bell, and thank you, Commissioner Cotton. So we will move that motion forward. Simply respond with yes if you are in favor of this motion after I call your name, and I will proceed in alphabetical order. Commissioner Bell?
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Bobo?
Yes.
Oh, and Commissioner Acker, my apologies.
No problem. Yes, from me as well.
Commissioner Bridges?
Yes.
Commissioner Cotton?
Yes.
Commissioner Cusick?
Yes.
And Commissioner Hubler is not present, is that correct?
No, I'm.
No, Commissioner Hubler, you are here. Commissioner Hubler? Commissioner Hubler?
Yes. Yeah.
And Commissioner Maddox?
Yes.
Commissioner McKee?
Yes.
Commissioner Searcy?
Yes.
Commissioner Wynn?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes. Have I left anyone out?
This is Patterson. I didn't hear my name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I didn't know that you were present. Commissioner Patterson.
Yes.
Thank you. And for the record, is Commissioner Wood present? Commissioner Wood not being present, the motion passes unanimously. And so we will proceed with our business. Ms. Pallas, did you have your hand raised? Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to point out that it was Chiquita that you'd missed.
Apologize. Okay, so our now we will proceed with the approval of the minutes. Is there discussion or is there discussion or amendment needed for the minutes? Comments or revision?
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner McKee. Hearing no additions, corrections, or deletions, I move for acceptance of the minutes.
And this is Commissioner Maddox. I'll second.
Thank you. And so we will proceed with a roll call vote to accept the minutes of the December meeting. Commissioner Acker.
Yes.
Sorry, I lost my roll. Commissioner Bell.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Bobo.
Yes.
Commissioner Bridges.
Yes.
Commissioner Cotton.
Yes.
Commissioner Cusick.
Yes.
Commissioner Hubler.
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox.
Yes.
Commissioner McKee.
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Searcy.
Yes.
And Commissioner Wynn.
Yes.
Okay, so the minutes pass, and so we will move on to our next order of business, which is an update on the Second Avenue recovery. I will begin by noting that in the aftermath of the horrific events of the morning of December 25th, conversations among some of us began happening that involved both members of the Metro Historical Commission as well as the Metro Historic Zoning Commission. We held those out of immediate concern as to what we might do to help in the situation. This led to conversation about forming a committee that might help. That committee became a committee, or it put forth a mission statement as well as some goals. That committee then asked Metro Historic Zoning Vice Chair Cyril Stewart to serve as its leader. We met with via Zoom with a pretty sizable contingent. All commissioners and zoning commissioners were notified as to this meeting. I state this to note that we didn't make any decisions as to this, and that this was done in a spirit of an attempt to do what we could to help in a crisis situation. And so in accordance with open meetings laws, it is prudent for us to note this on the public record that these events transpired. But again, there was no voting on any matter. And so Mr. Dickerson, is there anything else that we need to proceed with in that, with regard to that matter, in terms of from a legal perspective?
I think you're good.
Okay. Well, then at this point, I will ask our executive director, Tim Walker, to provide a few more updates as to where things are regarding Second Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you, Clay. In the director's report that was sent out over the weekend, just wanted to make sure everybody got that and make sure you saw quite a bit of information I put about the Second Avenue recovery. There's a link to the meeting that occurred. It was an informational meeting the public was invited to, property owners and the media, that the mayor held at 10 a.m. last Friday. That's going to be a weekly thing for at least a month or so until we get closer toward recovery and an idea what that looks like. As I noted in the director's report, there's still a lot of unknowns out there. We're still waiting to hear back from one particular property owner who owns 170, 172, 174, and 176 Second Avenue North. Those were the buildings closest to the blast site and the ones most affected. All of those buildings, as I noted in the director's report, have a conservation facade easement, which is owned through Historic Nashville. And so we're also working daily with Historic Nashville to try to move toward those buildings being repaired. And as I noted, I believe I noted, we've been working with the Codes Department and HNI, and both have done independent inspections with structural engineers who say those buildings are viable. The owner, as you may have read in the paper, recently presented their own structural report that says up to 3 of the buildings aren't viable. We're continuing to have discussions and we'll see how that plays out in the weeks and months ahead. But the city is, both the codes director and the mayor's office are strongly behind preservation of those buildings. And it is my hope that that's where we'll be in a month or so. So if anyone has any questions, happy to answer them.
This is Commissioner Bell. Can you hear me? Tim?
Yes, Renee.
Yes. I just have a question about the mayor's office had actually made a statement about working with another task force and also with MHC. How does that affect how MHC and MHZC collaborate with the mayor's office?
Renee, they are going to take what MHC and MHC started together and include at least a member from both commissions and moving forward. They see that group more looking at the repair beyond just those individual buildings, how we make Second Avenue more viable and better than it was before the bombing. And so we expect some kind of design charrette that involves planning, possibly ULI and the Nashville Civic Design Center. And we expect that will happen sometime in February or March. Lucy Kemp, the planning director, is taking the lead for the mayor's office in that, but she's involving key members of that group, including Commissioner Cyril Stewart. So, but I haven't heard anything beyond that at this point. They're working through that now, and I expect some decision on what that looks like in the next week or two at most.
Okay, so Tim, we are on hold until we hear more about that, and then Chair Bailey and you will inform us, or how do you see that proceeding for us for information?
Yes, either Clay, I will keep Clay abreast, but one of us will inform everyone once we know more. Okay, thank you. And one more question on that. So as a task force, are any of the other commissioners, whether they're MHC specifically, because I know Zoning Commission, we are held a little bit because we are only one of us can be on that task force.
So is the other commissioners of the MHC Commission invited to join that task force?
It will be only
I
one.
believe I am. I believe I'm on the task force. I got asked, so I'm there.
I'm sorry, we lost you there, but it's only going to be one MHC member that will be asked to join that.
Okay, very clear. Thank you.
Let me add, this is Chair Clay Bailey. Let me add that now that we've gotten through the legal necessities of acknowledging that meeting, and I speak for Director Walker as well, and I want to just reiterate the message that he sent as a supplement to his director's report, that the response and concern shown by so many on this commission, as well as the Historic Zoning Commission and other stakeholders and interested parties, was really reassuring, and at the risk of using the something that has come to sound a little trite, we really did demonstrate Nashville's resilience and our interest to help. And I know that it is frustrating because we want to do what we all can to help. And it's frustrating on two fronts that we can't all get more involved, and then also that that things don't always move as quickly, but we are dedicated to and acknowledge that we need to be under the guidance of the mayor's office moving forward. And so I just wanted to say something to that effect on the record. And so thank you, everyone, for your involvement and concern on this.
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
Commissioner.
Yes, Dr. McKee, go ahead.
I would like just one more piece of clarification. Based on what I'm hearing our executive director say, there were no additional scheduled meetings for Mr. Stewart's task force. Is that correct?
Commissioner McKee, that is correct. He is going to play a central role moving forward. Exactly what the particular structural particulars are in that movement forward are a bit unclear, but I should note, and Director Walker can chime in here as well, that someone who is highly respected and a close associate of Cyril Stewart's is going to be that person who, I believe Cyril Stewart in his recommendation said that someone needs to wake up every morning thinking about 2nd Avenue as their focal point. And that person has been identified, and his name is Ron Gobble. And Director Walker, did you want to say anything else in that regard?
No, if you do get the chance to go back and watch the mayor's meeting from last Friday, they introduced Ron Gobble at the end of the meeting, and Ron talks a little bit about his role going forward, but he has been hired by the city, and that is his job now to move forward with the recovery of 2nd Avenue and communicating with all metro departments.
Commissioner Maddox.
Yes, I have two quick questions. One, who is the MHC member that is on that committee? And two, how can we get notification about the meetings on that Friday? I did not know anything about it. Thank you.
Commissioner Maddox, if it has not been determined by who will represent the Metro Historical Commission on this, just over the weekend after the Friday meeting, which I was aware that some meeting was going to happen, but after that meeting, Director Walker let me know that we would have one representative. I am happy to serve as that representative as chair, but I don't necessarily have to be that person. And so, so I appreciate your question. And if, if we, well, and I'll defer since Director Walker was at the Friday meeting, let me defer to him as to how we might proceed. And Commissioner Bell, did you have a
Yes,
question?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, just to clarify, Commissioner Maddock too, because we did kind of have a discussion on who can be in terms of that, and I think legal Alex Dickerson can chime in after, but or Tim Walker for sure. But we, as the MHZC Commission, voted in Cyril Stewart as our representative from the MHCC. He is vice chair, and because again, I have a different, roles as a chair of MHCC as well. So that's kind of what our commission did. So if Alex has any other comments to that, or Tim, then I acquiesce to that as well.
Alex Dickerson, did you have anything to say on that in that regard?
Yeah.
I know that Director Walker wants to speak as well.
Let me say a few things. Again, this is Alex Dickerson, Metro Legal. So I think we're talking about two different groups here. So as to the group that's the task force that you all formed between historic and historic zoning, I recommended that historic zoning go ahead and empower by vote the individuals that were going to be on that task force. And I would recommend the same thing for historic. So if you want to put people just on the two group task force, I would recommend that you vote to empower members to be on that. As for the mayor's task force, it may be that the executive director would know more about this, but it may be that the mayor's office is selecting people for that, or they will have a process for doing that. But I don't know if that's something that is ripe for selection right now, because, but that's again, something Tim might know better.
And I'm going to, Tim Walker is going to speak to this as well. And again, all of this has just been unfolding over the last few days. And so the lack of clarity as to all of this reflects the fact that it's kind of a work in progress, and we are somewhat in the holding pattern waiting for what the mayor's office may do. So I'll let Director Walker clarify further, because he is more knowledgeable as to those moving parts.
Well, and Clay, you're correct and accurate that it is still not been decided. I do believe it's the mayor's office that's going to reach out and ask one of the MHC members to serve on that. But again, that hasn't been completely set up as of yet. But again, I expect that to happen in the next week or two at most. And Lucy Kemp, the planning director, will be taking the lead for the mayor's office and setting that up. So you'll hear more. And I want to go back to Commissioner Maddox's question about the meeting last Friday at 10 a.m. That meeting was set up by the mayor's office. I only got notice of it 24 hours in advance. In fact, at first it was only going to be property owners that were invited, and I only found out about an hour before the meeting that the public was invited. So that was news to me too. In the future, though, they're going to be sending out word to everyone, and everyone will be invited to attend these future meetings. I do believe there's going to be one at Friday. I'll give you an update. I don't know that a time has been set. I was assuming it will be 10 a.m., but you'll hear from me when that will happen. So if anybody would like to attend those live, they'll have that opportunity.
Thank you, Director Walker, and Commissioner Maddox. I hope that addresses your questions, and I'm glad you asked those questions. Any further discussion on this?
Mr. Chairman, my hand is raised.
Yes, I'm sorry, Commissioner McKee, go ahead.
Since the original task force in essence is being disbanded, I would like to suggest that a thank you note or a nice email go out to the people who participated on behalf of our commission, because I feel like we had a lot of volunteers and a lot of us asked people to join that. And so I think the members or the people who participated in that first thing need to be thanked, and information needs to be shared with them.
Dr. McKee, this is Chair Bailey. Duly noted, and I will work with others who were centrally involved leading up to that January 5th meeting, and we will get a note, an update and a thank you out to those parties. And I appreciate your, as always, your thoughtful perspective on that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner McKee. I don't see other hands raised. So I think we will move on to our next order of business, unless I have the sense that it might be premature to vote as Commissioner Bell did at the as the MHZC did at their meeting last week. As I am, I think I'm understanding that there will just be one representative, and if it is, if we want further discussion as to making that decision at this point, I am open to that. So I just open the floor to whether we should move forward in making that decision. Or okay. Well, Director Walker just told me that the mayor's office will probably make that decision. And so I will leave it at this. If there is, if they are looking for input, I will solicit input in that decision-making process. And so moving forward, and now I'm glad to see that Commissioner Wood has joined us as well. So this is about as well as we've ever done in my recent memory as to attendance. I think we're one short of full attendance. So thank you all for being here. Now, our next order of business is an update regarding the conference, the African American History and Culture Conference. And so Commissioner Wynn and Caroline Eller of staff are going to give us an update there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chairman Clay. The conference is well on its way, and I want to publicly thank Caroline for all the work that she has put into this year's conference, with it being online. She has done a mammoth job. We are celebrating the 40th year this year. The conference will be dedicated to the memory of Dr. Rivers Mitchell, who was the immediate past co-chair who passed this summer. The program will have presentations from Dr. Kent Wallace from Fisk University. He is going to speak on Fisk University's sciences, past and present. We have Dr. Katera Vasquez, who is with the U.S. Department of Energy, who is going to speak on atomic hope, our words and our spaces, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Patricia King with the Urban Green Lab will be giving a presentation on rectifying an inequitable history, the National Environmental Justice Initiative. Dr. Patel with Belmont University will speak on Nashville sites, walking and virtual tours of Nashville's history and culture. Entertainment this year will be provided by Adriana Haygood of Belmont University. There will also be a presentation by Kanisha Mosley, Uncovering the Forgotten, documenting the African American presence at Cheekwood and discussing the African American community in Nashville from 1890 to 1940. We will also have the Reverend Jeff Carr, who will give a presentation on no sellout, no compromise, past and present leadership lessons from the Tennessee State University student sit-in of 1990. There will be a virtual tour of the Jefferson Street Sound Museum, where Lorenzo Washington is the director. We will also have entertainment by the Don Adams Band. And we will complete the conference with a panel discussion on reflections and affirmations, a 40-year retrospective of the Nashville Conference on African American History and Culture. So that is basically where we are. We're looking forward to seeing everyone on February the 12th. It will be online. So the conference, just like everything else in society right now, is trying to be active and participate in what we have done through this COVID period by being online. Again, I want to thank Caroline for all that she has done to help make this year's conference a success. And Caroline, I don't know if I left out anything. I just received a call this morning from Representative Brenda Gilmore, who will be making a contribution to the conference this year. Caroline, did I leave out anything?
Hey, Linda. Yeah, I just have a couple of other quick details to provide to everybody. And thank you for all of your work. I know that you worked diligently to get everything set up very early on with the presenters and have just been really gracious in assisting me. This is my first time putting together the conference, and so I'm very appreciative of your help as well as Jessica's and Tim's with this whole thing. So as Linda stated, the conference is going to be Friday, February 12th, and it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So that's just under 3 weeks from today. As Linda mentioned, this is the conference's 40th anniversary, and it's the first time that we've ever done an all virtual event. In light of the COVID restrictions, we have worked with our presenters as well as Metro ITS to pre-record all of the lectures, and we'll be live streaming those along with some live content from our speakers and musicians. This will be done at the Sunny West Conference Center on the day of. Tennessee State University also recorded and is editing a virtual tour of the Jefferson Street Sound Museum, and that includes an interview with Lorenzo Washington, so we're very excited about that. And for this year's conference, Linda and I wrote 6 new profiles that detail the contributions and achievements of Dr. Charles O. Hadley, musician Jackie Shane, Representative John Lewis, Dr. Revis Mitchell, the Reverend C.T. Vivian, and J. Robert Bradley. In the week and a half since our registration is opened, we are already up to about 50 registrations. All commissioners should have received an email invite with the link to register, but please let me know if you did not receive one. Registration is $20. Since this is a virtual only event, if you register online, your confirmation email will include the WebEx link needed to access the event. If you mailed in your registration with a check, which I know some of you told me that you have, please keep a lookout for an email from me with the WebEx information, as those are being processed manually. And thank you to those of you who have already signed up. In celebration of the conference's 40th anniversary, the registration this year includes a commemorative conference lapel pin, which will have the conference logo and a digital copy of the newly revised Profiles of African Americans in Tennessee book, which was first published in 1996. So Linda and I have been working to update this book by editing and adding the profiles from the last 25 years and updating other sections. Linda worked with Dr. KT Ewing at TSU to write a new introduction for the book, and we plan to make this book publicly available online very soon after the conference. The full conference video will be posted to Metro YouTube and on our new conference website. Tim and I are working with Belmont student Aiden McKernan to design this new website, which will have information and archive materials about the current and past year's conferences. While this website is going to take some time to build out, it will eventually have all of the conference videos, materials, including profiles and programs, as well as an image gallery from these events all in one place. We are aiming to have a main landing page and a 2021 conference page set up this month. Finally, we are in full swing with the promotion of the conference and have sent flyers to Fisk, TSU, and Vanderbilt, and have posted the conference on a national preservation website. We mailed out about 570 registration forms. Thank you to Susie and Scarlett with your help with that, by the way. And we have posted to our MHC and conference Facebook pages, as well as our Instagram page. Within the next couple of weeks, we will also be sending out a press release to the media. So if you would like a copy of the flyer to circulate with friends and or your colleagues, please let me know and I'll get that sent your way. I think that's everything that I've got. Thank you guys very much, and we hope to see several of you at the conference.
Caroline, is this meeting? It's John Bridges. Is this a WebEx thing, or will we be able to see what's going on?
Commissioner Bridges, yes. So the entire event is going to be held through WebEx. So if you register online, your registration receipt via email will include the WebEx access information with the link. Otherwise, if you mail in the check and the form to us, I'll be emailing you that WebEx link separately. And then what you'll do the day of the conference is you will just click on that link in order to be able to access. And we're going to do sort of like a live streaming version. So we've got these pre-recorded videos that we're going to play for you, but there's also going to be the live content with speakers and musicians, as well as the panelists will be live that day. So it's sort of a mix of both.
Thank you, Linda Wynn, and thank you, Caroline Eller, for your diligence and perseverance amidst these challenges. And again, I would reiterate what they both said to encourage all commissioners to register for the conference. And then also I will add to encourage everyone to share this information regarding the conference with friends, colleagues, associates, family who might be interested in attending the virtual event. Thank you both for your work. Now, our next order of business is the appointment of a task force to address a complaint against Director Walker that I shared an email prior to this meeting from the complainant in order to give you a sense of the particulars of this. Again, there has been a complaint against Director Walker and staff, but our concern is with Director Walker, since staff's concerned, he would be the one concerned with staff. So the nature of this complaint is in the materials that I've shared, as I said, prior to the meeting. I have discussed this with Metro Legal, including with Alex Dickerson and with Vice Chair Lynn Maddox, and determined that it would be best to appoint a task force to permit the complainant to present his concerns and for Director Walker to respond. I recommend that the following commissioners serve on that task force: Vice Chair Maddox and Commissioners Cotton, Hubler, and McKee, as well as myself. The rationale for these commissioners to be on this task force is that they are the ones who would be most familiar with the content of this due to their prior or present involvement with the Nashville City Cemetery Association. I need a motion from the commission and a vote from the commission in order to appoint the members, empower them to hear and consider the concerns, and make a recommendation to the full commission, which would likely be at our February meeting.
Chair Bailey, this is Commissioner Bell, and I make that motion to accept the list. Thank you.
Linda Wynn, second.
Thank you. So there is the motion has been, I entertain a motion, and so I will call the roll. And simply, as we have done previously, respond yes or no, as you see fit. Davis Acker, Commissioner Acker.
Yes.
Commissioner Bell.
Yes.
Commissioner Bobo.
Yes.
Commissioner Bridges.
Yes.
Commissioner Cotton.
Yes.
Commissioner Cusick.
Yes.
Commissioner Hubler.
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox.
Yes.
Commissioner McKee.
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Searcy.
Yes.
Commissioner Wood.
Yes.
Commissioner Wynn.
Yes.
So the motion to form the task force to address the complaint passes. And so that was our last agenda item. I want to take a moment just to highlight the calendar of meetings and events that was sent out by Susie Pallas. Among other things to note, that as with this month, so also with next month, our meeting will be a week later due to the President's Day weekend. So February 22nd is that meeting date. Also, in addition to the virtual African American History and Culture Conference, note that May of 2021, it is, as always, National Preservation Month, and that that staff is already at work, and the committee regarding this will be convening in the coming weeks for the virtual preservation awards and reception. It will be challenging to do that again virtually, but I feel that since it had to be canceled last year, that it is essential that we do hold those preservation awards. If I don't see any hands raised, again, I appreciate the very robust attendance at today's meeting, and the thoughtful discussion that we had, and also the care with which the commissioners have responded over regarding the concerns of the Second Avenue bombing. If there is nothing further, I will call the meeting adjourned and look forward to seeing you in February. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.